Welcome to Chaos, Courage and Coffee, the podcast for anyone who's felt like on the outside I'm holding it together, but inside I'm struggling.
And we do it with honesty, heart, and just enough coffee to get through the day.
Good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Brett. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been thinking about something over this last week or so, and it has to do with rest. Now, you mentioned in our last episode that we load ourselves up with too much work, and that's something that I would like to examine it in a bit more detail on another day. But today, I'd like to talk about why we feel guilty when we rest. Like, are we placing too much expectations on ourselves to do too much? Are we, well, I think that's what it boils down to.
Well, for me, it's an interesting thing. For me, I had a mother who was very, very busy. And I think I quite possibly might have learnt it. I'm just putting this as one of the things.
Yep.
Learned that busy was the way to be. Like, I didn't know any different. I had very busy parents. They didn't sit down. We had a room. So I'm from England originally, and we have a sitting room. And, it just didn't really even get used because sitting was not a thing. So a lot for me was what was modeled for me about being very busy. So I guess I took that as that's how we should do life. So you're definitely going to have a little bit of what's being modeled for you by your immediate family, and obviously maybe culture as well. Culture probably is an interesting one to mention. People who have countries where they have siestas and things like that. So culture and your upbringing is going to firstly play an important part.
Okay. So I just think we do have so much going on in our lives these days. It's not just work, it's for children, for mums and dads, it might be running them around after school to different this activity and that activity, which, as you say, culture is not just country of origin with siestas and work all the way through the day, those sorts of things. I think there's family culture as well, and that might be part of what you're talking about. But I think there's a bit more to it than that. I think that we do place such a high expectation on ourselves, and I think mums in particular, working mums even more so, to do this thing and do that thing, to work, to take care of the kids and take care of the house, and I know dads, are starting to step into that space more, though still not evenly granted. And so I think we place so much expectation on ourselves to do so much, so many different things, and all the time, that when we do stop, when we take a moment to breathe and relax, there's all these other things going on in our minds. We're thinking, I could be doing this or I should be doing that. And I think that's where this feeling of guilt really comes from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm thinking from what you're saying, part of it is habit. And it's interesting that you've talked about busy in your mind as well. As I was thinking about being busy, but I think so some of it also is habit, that we are so used to being busy that stopping, as you said, even the mind is still going when we've stopped, which I think is quite interesting. And the other thing I was going to throw into the mix is when you talk about being busy and doing all these things and taking kids places, I wonder how much of it is to do with too much choice. There's so much choice, there's so many things to do, and we actually kind of want to do it all. We don't actually realize that, yes, we're choosing, but we still choose as much as we can, and we don't limit it. And it's almost like I will do as much as I can fit in, which invariably becomes more than you can fit in or more than you can handle. And is that because there's so much choice there? Is it like at a buffet, and there's so much food and you want to try everything, so you end up overeating? I see it a little bit like that.
I'm guilty of the buffet thing. Um, I do enjoy my food, but that's okay. Different topic. Oh, you're right. I sometimes see it on TV where parents take their children to this sport on this day and this sport, or one child to this sport and a different child to a completely different activity on the same day, and and then they're busy. They've got after school activities 2, 3, 4 nights a week, and then they've got activities on the weekend as well. And it's all around these um, different things that, we just keep loading up. And if we take time out, then what are we missing? What are the children missing? What are we missing out on? And
Oh, FOMO.
so, could that be a factor in this as well?
So yeah, I've talked a little bit really about why we're so busy and what's behind it. And the topic, of course, is why we feel guilty. And it was interesting going back to what you said, that even if we do stop, our head still keeps going. Um, and so why do we feel guilty when we stop? And how much of that is it's just habit? And so when we stop, we're like, I should be doing, because we're used to doing. Like, because in a social situation, we accept that we just sit and we just chill. We're not doing perhaps enough social, because that would help us doing the stopping and the sitting. But we don't feel guilt. Well, we might feel guilty for that, but less so, because we see the function of it. The social is the social side, the interaction, connection that we all need as humans. So maybe the stopping is, yes, because we don't value it.
I think that's a really good statement. We don't value stopping. We don't value what if we talk about the social, and it's a little bit away from where we started, I know, but if we just talk about the social for a minute, why don't we value this highly enough? Well, that's probably the wrong question. I think we just don't value it highly enough. We don't put enough value on it to deserve our time, maybe, or the time investment in those socials, which I think is a little bit of a shame. And this can be another topic, because we're not building those connections. We are so busy that we're not stopping and building connection.
I love the time investment, because it makes me think about money investment, because a lot of people don't have money these days, but then when something that they really want to do comes along, and I think particularly about young people, uni students, if their favorite person is coming, it's a concert, they've suddenly got the money. Well, the same might be true of time, and it's about managing your time like you would manage your money. If something's important, then do it. But I guess we don't then drop off something else. So with money, you're like, okay, well, I won't spend it on other things because I'm going to spend it on the concert. With time, we're like, I really want to go and, go to this social event, but I haven't got time. And then we still want to cram everything else in. We don't go, oh, so I won't do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Budgeting.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. We don't budget our time. We just try and stretch it and get as much as we possibly can in, which to a certain point I think is valid and good, because we're trying to live life if it's a life that serves us. But if we're just busy for the sake of being busy, or filling time with things that we don't value, then perhaps that's not the best life to live. And reinvesting that time into something that provides more value to us personally might be worthwhile. Now, don't get me wrong, if that's your kids and giving them all of these different experiences, then that's great, and I'm happy for you, and I'm not arguing against that. My question, going back to where we started, is why do we feel guilty if we stop? Is it FOMO? Is it that we feel, or our brains keep going because I could or should be doing something else? I'm not important. Maybe I'm not important enough to just sit and relax for 30 minutes.
Or it's the habit, because we do get into a groove, like being busy. I'd been busy all my life. I didn't know any different. And I'm so in the habit that I just feel that it's wrong if I'm not being busy. It's taken me a lot of years to scale it back. I kept scaling it back, and it was like, wow, I'm still doing too much. It's like, I hate to think where I started. It's crazy. So the discomfort of, changing that habit, which is hard. And so for parents wanting to give more for your kids, perhaps not realizing what you're already giving them, and thinking that, I've got to do more, I've got to do more. There's always that, I'll be a better parent if I do more. And I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think sometimes doing less is more. Less distractions, less activities, and more just quality time can be more. More stopping time. I know a friend of mine was saying that for them, their quality time with their children was laying in bed and watching TV, watching the movie or show, whatever that the child wanted to watch, just spending that time doing the thing that they were interested in and wanted to do. And, sometimes I think we need to stop and ask those questions. What's really important? And where is our time best invested? And not feeling guilty for slowing down. And I think that's a really good thing, is it's okay to stop. In fact, we need to stop.
Well, as you said before, the stopping gives us a chance to connect, and we do need to value connecting, because otherwise we're too busy being busy, trying to live life, but we're not connecting, which is a huge part of life. And society is more fragmented now. So let's value that connection. And maybe you're slowing down if you just create social things that will make you feel less guilty, if you can see that you're still doing something there, you are connecting, which is so vital.
Yeah. We talk about time for ourselves, and different people need different types of time. Sometimes it's alone time, sometimes it's just time with friends, sometimes it's time doing something that we just really enjoy doing for ourselves. There's a saying, we need to fill our own cups before we can fill the cup of others. And if we are not taking the time to recharge ourselves in whatever way that takes, then we're not going to be there for others. We're not going to be able to give of ourselves in a way that fulfills them. So, we do need to take that time. We do need to slow down. We all do. From time to time, slow down. It's okay. It's indeed necessary to slow down, and try not to feel guilty about it, because it's important.
Oh, that's it then. If we see its importance, then we won't feel so guilty. We see the importance of being busy. And so when we're not busy, we feel guilty. And if we understand the purpose of not busy, it has as much function as busy, then we won't feel guilty about it.
Yeah. And I think that's a good one. Understanding that it is important, that we need to stop, can be helpful.
Mm.
So take a chill pill.
All right. Well, I'm not sure how to summarize that, really. I think that perhaps was the summary.
I think you might be right. I think this is a really short one. Short and sweet.
Yeah, but I think enough that people, listening to this will make you stop and think and listen, and, just take one or two things out of this chat today and think about what will you change in your life because you've listened to this today.
So I hope you all have a slightly less busy day today, and an opportunity to slow down.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thanks for being with us today on Chaos, Courage and Coffee. Remember, you're not alone, and you don't have to figure it all out at once. What part of today's conversation stood out for you?
This podcast is about showing up in the mess, not waiting until it's all sorted out. If today helped, share it with someone else who might need it too.
And if you're navigating your own version of chaos, we'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment, message us, or join the conversation.
We'll be back soon with more honest talk, less pressure, and just enough courage to get through whatever's next.
See you next time on Chaos, Courage and Coffee.